Hi, Eamon here. Psychegnosis News, Day 7. We're going to be going deeply into the article today rather than listening to what I've got to say because it'll take up a lot of the things I would have said anyway because it's very, very concise and becomes out much more clearly. And the idea of this courtroom on Day 7 is to go into everything that is the information concealed within the 2,500 articles and get you used to how the articles are working so that you can do your own research because there are major parts in the archive that will go into all the details. Today's situation is talking about analysis, i.e. the treatment that psychology gives, psychiatry, past remembrances, all the things that people treat for mind-related issues which we declare are dangerous, useless, dangerous, and lead us in the wrong path and only strengthen the illusion. If we've studied up till now, we should realise that all our information is good information and that our illusion is not a reality, even though we need it to exist in this world. This is me talking from me just now, hopefully beyond my illusion. Anyway, we're going to go into the therapy, if you like, that we believe is worldwide, can be worldwide, in a short period of time. If a few individuals like ourselves start to pass this information on to others, it can quickly spread. I'm planning on writing a paper as well as a book from this month, so I'd really like your own analysis, if you like, on how you feel about the information, because I'm going to put this paper into the psychological departments of universities and hopefully someone will look at the evidence that we're presenting today and perhaps we'll be able to help national health in this pandemic, not only in this country but worldwide. I believe that's how important this information is. I may be crazy and I'm willing to listen to anyone that says differently and can prove that psychognosis is not what it claims to be, the most important information ever given to mankind. An amazing claim. I'm a down-to-earth fellow, for those of you who know me, and I can only say that I believe that this can change the world situation. But it's up to us as individuals to find out for ourselves and then take it forward if you believe also. Anyway, I'm going to go into the article now. Please follow with by understanding and asking the question at the end and rereading it if possible. Remember, it's going to be in connection with today's article, with today's video, and enjoy. That's all I can say. Let's take this forward. Day 7, wonderful life. It's an incredible world. Just because I'm doing it from a Hollywood basement on the cheap doesn't mean to say that what I've got to say is not the most important information ever given. I don't have the gloss and all the things that other companies have, but I also don't charge any money for what I do. And I give away my books free. That's how important it is. I give up my time 100% to psychognosis because I think it's relevant and important for life-changing information. Thank you. Enjoy. Okay, here we are. We're on our article now. Psychegnosis News, for those who are not acquainted with it, it's 2,500 articles on mind-related issues which we believe are important. Today's subject being our preoccupation with past events is dangerous, taken from 2019, January the 5th, where we did this particular study into science and psychognosis. I'll read out the part again. We set up a fictitious courtroom which over the next few weeks we will investigate in detail the claims contained within the newspaper, the Psychegnosis News. Well, that's where we're at. The Prosecution Council have actually said the 6 charges that your publications have condemned existing therapies for such dreadful disorders as addictions as being not only useless but dangerous. How do you plead? Wow. Is that not a big assertion to make or a big claim? So we pleaded guilty to it because we are guilty of such a thing. We ask that you put your evidence in front of the jury, was the reply from the Prosecution Council, probably with a smug look on their face because they haven't heard the information for some of us out there. So it'll be nice to see us all open up our minds. Anyway, as we've explained in detail what this newspaper has revealed since 2009, and that you, the reader, and the jury review the previous 6 days of the evidence, as it is impossible to take one day's evidence to be able to comprehend the magnitude and the importance of the 2,000 plus messages contained within the pages of this revolutionary publication. Obviously, we can't go into it in detail, but we will do over the next few weeks, and we will take all existing therapies, and if anybody wants us to investigate a particular one, we'll do it for you in detail. But anyway, again, as we have reiterated many times, not only during this, but over the 10 years in almost every article, we do not wish to demean or undermine the sincerity of those involved in treating those with mind-related issues, but are only bringing to the table what we consider as overwhelming evidence that the existing therapies are not providing the success needed to meet the needs of those who are afflicted with such things as depression. We're living in a time of pandemic, where the world has been locked up for months and months, and there's major depression in our children. Suicides are on an all-time high. I'm sure that drug taking and alcohol consumption has considerably risen, that the faith and the hope of mankind, with the constant barrage of information flying out of their TV sets and online, telling us it's a terrible world, that we're needing something that's going to help. And I believe that Psychegnosis can do that. Our stance continues with the meeting head-on the danger of treating our minds as being who we are. And we use some of the evidence presented in a previous day within this court to confirm what we believe is the problem. So we're going to go over some of the things, because that's what basically Psychegnosis is, that we're not our mind-related issues, so we need to keep reiterating it. It is commonly said that everything happens in the mind, which is true, but where does one begin to treat these issues? We're into solutions, and that's why we'll give you it. That is where Psychegnosis differs from anything available today. The fixing of someone is impossible, as this only strengthens and gives validation to the illusion we presume to be. We should know that we've been living a brainwashed life, all of us, so the illusion has been given great strength. Most therapies goes into the patient's past and analyze events in their lives. This is the illusion's paradise, as it loves to talk about itself and gives what we will call an understanding of who I am emotion. That's some claim. That's what happens when we go to the psychologist. We're given what's called an understanding who I am emotion. An amazing statement. That's when the fun begins. This gives a short-term reprieve, as I've just mentioned, to the person that gets this type of therapy or this analysis on it. It gives them some sort of worth, as it leads to needing more information about their experiences from the past. This can continue for years with no permanent solution, to the point where we learn to live with it. And we learn to live with our demons, as the famous quote goes to say, which we know is nonsense, or should be. The problem extenuates as delving into the past or giving hope that in the future brings will fix them. Take a long time to explain that in detail, but basically that's the problem. It also starts brand new or revives old emotions about past events. So it brings up some information we never knew about, and we add it to our old emotions, and when we start talking about it, and then the blame is the new game in town, isn't it? Then blame is the new game that sparks more need for analysing even more. This blame can be to parents, teachers, friends, or events that occurred in the mind of the individual. It further confuses everyone involved and alienates and causes bitterness, not only in the person concerned, but in their immediate family and also everything surrounding them. Their whole life is consumed and ruined. The person wants to address the past issues with everyone and tells her or her story as they remembered it. Well, now you know what happens. Unfortunately, others do, who we accuse, and will tell another story. This leads to the obvious, as accusations fly everywhere. There is no end to the trauma that's caused. Those of you out there have all experienced this in some shape or form in your own lives, if we are honest about it. Time does not run in a straight line, so this causes what was said, and when it was said, confusion, and even more confusion. As you can see, it is impossible to help or to give any kind of peace to anyone by analysing the past. This subject is vast, but for now we shall finish with the solution. I told you we're into solutions and we're going to discuss it in detail. Over the coming weeks, it's going to take a while, but we'll get into the basis of it at the moment, the reasons. Psychegnosis confirmed that has the answer. It tells us that we are not who we think we are. We are not the thoughts or experiences we took part in. They were simply thoughts or experiences we happened to take part in the past. They are not who we are. They make up how we came to be, which is not the same. Without past memories, it is impossible to take part in life. So you need your past memories, but they are not who we are. We do not need to come to terms with the past. What we need to do is simply learn from the past. This will not then have any guilt or blame put on anyone or anything anymore. And more importantly, no blame or guilt on yourself or ourselves. This way we do not need to forgive because there is nothing to forgive. It may seem simple, and it is. This release is instant. Do it now. Take all thoughts from your mind and lo and behold, and feel the peace that will enter your very soul. The more you do not think, the more you will feel alive. This is not meant to sound evangelical, but we can assure you it is instant. The above article explains that the medical world is treating the symptoms and ignoring the source of what is the cause of all mental disorders that exist. As our headline says, analysis is useless. That is not only useless, that it is not only useless, but it actually perpetuates the problem and is extremely dangerous. Wow. Those of our readers who are engaged in psychological therapy will perhaps feel that what we're saying is wrong, because that's what they're used to. But we understand that. We understand that it's hitting at the very root of belief of what society has taught for thousands of years in their therapies. We are not saying that those who practice existing therapies such as psychology or psychiatry as well as counselling are not sincere or have the best intentions. We are simply saying that all analysing of our emotions as being who we are is perpetuating the problem. We shall over the next week investigate every therapy that mankind has embraced and see the futility of what they are doing. As I said earlier, got any information, pass it on and I'll certainly look at it. We believe that when the evidence is put on the table for all to see, we shall change the face of analysis forever. For you, the judge and the jury, you can decide. That any therapy that believes it can fix anyone who's looking into our past as being who we are in fact wasting their time and the time of the individual. It is a bold claim indeed that we at Psychegnosis are not afraid to write about something that all mankind believes is the correct way. Wow. These articles will unveil what the thinking mind has created in every society known to man. They will also reveal the erroneous teachings that are adding fuel to every problem that exists in the physical world. Wow. No stone will be left unturned. We shall continue to expose the danger of analysis. We are not afraid of the truth. Now, I want to say something. It's very important. If we're going to bring peace to mankind, me personally, and just the writings in Psychegnosis, it's too big a task to do. It needs an army of people. Not people who want to be zealous in a manner that's overriding, simply to pass the information on to people so that they can look in the mirror and ask things like we're going to ask in a moment in this question. And I'd like you to take your mirror out, or your phone, or some other device, and look into it and ask the following questions. We sincerely ask that you, the jury, the judge, go over the following question, for within it is important information pertaining to how programmed, how brainwashed we are. Well, we all are. When I look at the end result of existing treatments for not only addictions, but for other mind-related issues, do I not see how they are treating the story of the individual involved, which is not only impossible to fix, but is a complete and utter waste of time? Please read this article as when it's presented to you today, and please share it with someone. It is as it is.